finish up 5, 4, 3.
Hi, my name is Carlee, and this is the Coffee Klatch. The term coffee clutch comes from the German word Kaffeeklatsch, which translates to coffee plus gossip. It refers to a group of friends getting together over a cup of coffee. And I'm here today to talk to you about everything coffee. Exactly what it is, where it's from, and a little back history. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure, coffee is a brewed drink prepared from roasted coffee beans, the seeds of cherries from a coffee plant. As for the rest of you 1 billion coffee drinkers, you already know how wonderful this magical drink really is. There has been rumor that no one really knows the truth about the discovery of coffee. However, there is one story about a goat herder named Carlee, sometime in the 15th century near Yemen, Saudi Arabia. He noticed that after eating cherries from a certain tree, his goats became so energetic that they did not want to sleep. Okay, so let's talk about these cherries, right? Crazy. Who knew that coffee came from cherries? I didn't. Coffee cherries turn from green to bright red in color. This color determines the ripeness of the cherry. Once they are fully ripe, then they will be picked, processed, and dried. So let's talk a little bit more about the process in detail. This will include 10 steps from seed to cup, just in case you were curious about those cherries like I was. Okay, so step 1 starts with planting the coffee seeds, which is generally the same as planting pretty much anything: soil, water, and sun. The only difference is the seeds will need to be watered a lot more and shaded from bright sunlight. The second step is harvesting the cherries. It can take 3 to 4 years before the cherries are ready to be harvested. As I mentioned before, the cherries start out green, and then over time they turn red. Once they are bright red, then they will be selectively hand-picked for the ripest ones. The third step is to process the cherries. And processing the cherries is just basically removing the beans from the fruit and placing them in water. The fruit can be put through a machine to separate the skin and pulp from the bean. The fourth step would be drying the beans. This consists of spreading the beans out on a flat surface to dry them in the sun. To prevent the cherries from spoiling, you must stir them around equally to dry them, keeping them covered if there will be rain, because you want to keep them dry for several weeks to drop the moisture to at least 11%. The next step is milling the beans, step 5. This process is where you remove all the parchment layer off of the beans. After that, you can clean them and sort them. Getting ready to export them, which is step 6, exporting the beans. The milled beans are referred to as green coffee. They are loaded into containers, and then those containers are loaded onto a ship to be exported. The 7th step is tasting the coffee. You want to make sure that your product is good, right? They have what's called an expert cupper, who can taste hundreds of samples of coffee a day and can still tell the difference between cups. Now, the last 3 steps are a little bit obvious: roasting, grinding, and brewing. We're almost there. Number 8, roasting the coffee. There are roasting machines that maintain a temperature of 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and once your beans have reached an internal temperature of 400 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when they turn brown in color. Once the beans are done roasting, they need to be immediately cooled with either air or water. Okay, so number 9, grinding the coffee. The point of grinding the coffee beans is to get the most flavor in each cup. Number 10, brewing the coffee. Yes, I can already smell it now. Our coffee is almost done. I think you can guess this part. Brew it by pouring hot water onto the grounded coffee beans. And voila, you have delicious coffee. This episode has been brought to you by Folgers, the best part of waking up. Hey guys, it's Carlee again with the Coffee Klatch, and I'm here to tell you about a little backstory that I found interesting and I didn't know about coffee. So back in the 15th century, the leaves of the so-called magical fruit were boiled in water, and people thought that you could use them for medical purposes. Some did actually use it for medical purposes. There was a rumor back then that they used it for an aid for concentration for the amount of caffeine content. They say the ancient Chinese used it as well for medical purposes. They say that when you consume coffee, our central nervous system function enhances. They say coffee can improve our cognitive performance, increase blood flow to the kidneys, and increase the body's heart rate. For that reason in specific is why the Chinese culture used coffee to heal people who were depressed or lethargic. I've always wondered why coffee was so amazing. I guess we know now, don't we? This magical drink is the best part of waking up, with a hug in every mug and touches my soul every morning. Coffee is literally life. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned everything that you need to know about the history of coffee and the steps for seed to cup.